watching CycleCruza's all-in-one motorcycle channel. Subscribe today.
Yeah! I still love that shit. Even on the CBR600 dibble. I decided to give the liter bike a rest because I hit the 600 mile mark on that bike and I need to do an oil change on it, and I haven't gotten around to doing it yet, so I just decided to take the 600 out. Still having fun, baby. Yeah. But anyways, in this video I wanted to give you my experience with the CBR Trilogy. I know a lot of you guys, you new riders, or excuse me, potential riders, wanted to know what it was like going from the 250 to the 600 to the 1000. And as you guys know, I have completed the CBR Trilogy. The CBR250r I bought brand new at the dealership. I got a hot deal on it. It was a leftover model, and it was a 2011 CBR250r, and I paid what, $4,000 out the door for that bike. But the reason I chose that bike, I also had considered the Kawasaki Ninja 250r, but I sat on the Ninja 250r and I really just didn't like the feel of the bike at first. It just felt top end. The top end of the bike just felt bulky, and when I sat on the CBR 250r, it felt narrow between my legs, and the bike just felt confidence inspiring. The seat was comfortable, everything, it just felt good on that bike. I don't know, I tell you guys, I just have a love for the CBRs. I really do. I really love the way Honda sets their bikes up. And they allow you to be more at one with the bike and the road. And I'll tell you, when I got on the CBR 250r, literally it took me only, when I got the bike home, but by the way, I didn't ride the bike home because I didn't feel confident shifting. I had not rode a bike in a number of years, since I was a teenager actually. And so I had the guy ride it home for me, and I paid him $10. And the next day I hopped on the bike, and literally within 5 minutes I learned, I was out there shifting the bike and cruising the streets. So it's really easy to shift on a bike, guys. I mean, if you guys have shifted a manual shift car, it'll be very easy for you, because I owned a Honda Civic that was a 5-speed manual shift back in the day for like 7 years. And it's actually easier to shift on a bike than it is a car. But yeah, I picked it up right away. I was cruising the streets, man, and I really enjoyed my time on the CBR 250r. I put on, what, 2,500 miles on it. And I just got to the point where I wanted to move up in power. I felt like it was lacking in power on the highway. You couldn't make power passes. I mean, all you could do on the highway is just pull in the brake and slow down and let people pass you. You couldn't do any real good passing on that bike on the highway. Forget it. And I just was ready to move up. I enjoyed myself on the 250r. I learned the skills that I need to learn, gained my confidence, and after 5 months I traded it in. They gave me, like I said, $3,500 for the 250, and I paid an additional $4,000 and got this pre-owned 08 CBR600rr. It had, what, 9,200 miles on it. When I first rode this bike from the dealership, and it was pouring down raining at night in a rural area that I was not even familiar with at all, I was kind of intimidated. Because you hear everybody say, man, the Super Sport it's going to be like a whole different world for you, and the power is just going to be amazing over the 250, and it just kind of intimidates you a bit listening to people. But to be honest with you, they're telling the truth, guys. When you jump from the 250 to the 600, man, it's like night and day. I'm telling you guys, it's just you have to be careful with the throttle. You actually have to learn, you know, your throttle skills, heading around on turns, and not to crank the throttle too hard, and be smooth with the throttle going around turns, because if you crank the throttle too hard with the 600 or the liter bike, you know, it can spin the rear wheel out and put you on your ass. Now, I know a lot of these new 600s, you know, I know like the ZX6R 636, the 2013 and newer, it has the traction control in the modes. It'll help reduce rear wheel slippage and help keep you in control. So nowadays, I mean, you almost can really start, you know, on a 600 that has the traction control modes and everything, and the power modes where it will reduce the power, output power, which is beneficial to new riders. But once you become more of a seasoned rider, you don't need those rider aids. They're, you know. But if I had to do it all over again, I would still start on the CBR250r, you know, because it's a really lightweight bike. Like I said, you can really do no wrong on that bike. But once you jump to the 600, then you're gonna have to up your skill level. Like I said, the throttle's more sensitive on the bike. And but the weight of the bike and the feel of the bike does not feel all that much different from the 250 at all. This bike only weighs, I think, like an extra, what, 30 or 40 pounds heavier than the CBR 250R that I had that had ABS on there. And so the feel of the bike was no different than the 250 to me. It was just the power that had to get used to, and it took some time for me. It took a few months before I felt really comfortable with the power on the bike. But it was just so awe-inspiring cranking that throttle, man, on this 600. The visceral feel that you get. It's really awesome, and I still love riding this bike even after moving up to the Fireblade. Like I said, I want to keep this bike. If I do trade it in, it'll probably be for a naked bike. But anyways, getting back to the experience, I put 2 years, almost in September 6th, it'll be 2 years with this 600. And I'll tell you guys, this is really all you need for the streets. Like I said in my previous video, it has more than enough power that you need. Watch carefully! It just all around, it's really all you need for the streets. But some of you guys, you know, like me, that are curious of seeing what the leader bike is all about, and that's, you know, one of the main reasons why I switched over, you know, jumped up and added a Fireblade to the garage, was because not only, like I told you guys, I wanted to complete the CBR Trilogy, but I just wanted to get that leader bike experience and be able to speak from experience. Tell you, going from the 600 to the leader bike was really, there was it was no big deal, really. There was nothing different, to be honest with you. Actually, the Fireblade was easier, I would say even easier to ride than this bike, because the power is so linear. It has a slipper clutch, it's easy to shift gears, it's just butter smooth. It feels really light on the liter bike. So the difference between the 600,000 is really, it just, like I said, it has some upgrades. It's got the suspension upgrades on that bike over this bike, and the power, the extra power that the liter bike produces, you'll never really utilize out here on the streets, guys. Like I tell you guys, I'm still doing the same speeds on that liter bike, you know, that I do on this 600. You know, both of them do 0 to 60 in what, 3.5 seconds or so. Now the leader bike does have the edge from 0 to 100. Obviously, it's going to get you there in probably about a good 5.5 seconds. It's where this takes about 7.5 7.5 seconds, something like that. So, but you don't really feel that extra hit of power on that bike too much because it's so linear and smooth. You know, you're 0 to 100 before you know it, but it doesn't have that pull. You know, like this bike, it has that pull. You know, it hits a certain RPM, and then that power hits, and it just... But I also love the Fireblade as well, like I told you guys, because I love the handling on that bike, and the highway power is this bike is way more than adequate on the highway, but that bike is really completely awesome with passing power. The Fireblade. The Fireblade is like a jet on the highway, man. Look at that. Look at the passing power on this, man. And but both of them are great. But yeah, you know, CBR250r to the CBR600rr, huge jump, night and day difference. You head up your skill level. CBR600rr to CBR1000rr, not much different, to be honest with you. Like I said, even easier to ride. You just have to be more careful with the Fireblade because you're going faster than you realize you are. You have to pay attention to the speedometer a little more. But now that I have the Hyperflow pipe on the bike, I can gauge really how fast I'm going by the sound of the bike now, which I think is awesome. I'm going to end this video by telling those of you potential riders and new riders out there, if you're looking for videos to help you get started in motorcycling and you want to know all the ins and outs of motorcycling, I have a special playlist for you guys, and that's called the New Rider Playlist. And you can access that playlist on my website at CycleCruza.com. If you click on My Videos on the menu bar, it'll show a listing of all the sub-menus, and one of them is for new riders. And that's a playlist of all the videos that I feel will help new riders. Like I said, my channel, I want to bring a lot more new riders into the game. I got videos in there that'll help you get over that hump of being, that fear hump of riding a motorcycle out on the streets. I've got videos to help you get a good deal on a new bike, get the best possible deal you can get on a new or used motorcycle. The questions that you have will be answered in a lot of those videos. So hey, go check that out over at CycleCruza.com. But that's all I have for you guys. So, until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Deuces!
And it's time for CycleCruza's recommended videos.
Links are in the info section of this video. You want to go for a ride? Well, I'll take you for a ride to the abandoned amusement park Chippewa Lake, and I'll help motivate you to get a motorcycle so you can go for a ride too. Are you looking for a pair of sick leather Gauntlet gloves, but you don't want to pay a sick high price? You might want to check out my review on the Scorpion Guardian gloves. Are you looking for a motorcycle street jacket that not only looks sick, but will help keep you safe out on the streets? You might want to check out my review on the Icon Overlord Prime leather jacket. For those of you squids out there wearing tennis shoes out on your sport bikes, you might want to rethink that and get you a pair of good boots. Check out my review on the SIDI Fusion Air Boots. If you get a chance, like me at Facebook.com/CycleCruza1 for new updates and to browse my video library. Hey, I'm on Instagram now, so if you get a chance, follow me at Instagram.com/CycleCruza. Yeah! Your CycleCruza sport bike themed apparel at CycleCruza.com.
CycleCruza.com.
If you get a chance, check out my other channel, CycleCruza MotoVlogs, where I discuss anything and everything, not just motorcycle shit.